This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
This meeting of the Easthampton Conservation Commission will be conducted in person and simultaneously via remote participation online to the greatest extent possible. Should there be an interruption of the online meeting, abruptly, both the in-person and online meetings will be restarted, will not be restarted, and the agenda will automatically continue to the next scheduled meeting. This meeting is being recorded. So I will call to order the August 8th Conservation Commission meeting, Easthampton. Any non-agenda items?
Should I do the letter of support now or do it later?
Sure.
Okay. So this is for a grant for the 604B grant application, which is for planning, and in this instance specifically for a water quality assessment and watershed-based management plan for the Lower Mill Pond. And I already wrote a draft letter if you guys want to see it, but basically it's saying that you support the city trying out for this grant and trying to get the application submitted in time and accepted. So I know it's a little last minute. I'm going to try to get it submitted on the 17th, but seems like a good idea, a good place to start for trying to create a plan for. Once you have all this stuff in place, then you can apply for later grants to actually take action if it needs it. So yeah, for Lower Mill Pond specifically.
Check the grammar, right? All right, so we want a motion to go forward with that? I'll make a motion to go. Let's ask.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah, if you could motion to, issue a letter of support.
Okay. Yes, I will move to move forward with letter as written. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Commissioner Busa is absent with notice. Commissioner Buttrick is absent with notice. Commissioner Ryan, aye. Commissioner Whitmore, aye. Commissioner August,
aye.
Commissioner Weeks, aye. And Commissioner Carr is absent with notice.
Correct.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. No other public hearings.
No.
We have a request for a certificate of compliance. This is from S. Judd, Mass DEP file 1510229 for Treehouse Housing Development.
Yep, so Mr. Judd is here. Basically the commission, this is continued from the last meeting, the commission asked for some additional information, trying to confirm that the markers, the stone markers that are on the site are not representing the original Windward lawn. For that being the case, it would appear that the lawn has extended since, the project was completed, but I feel confident that's not the case based off the information I got from the firm who completed the as-built, which is a heritage survey and engineering. So I have three pieces of information. One is this one showing the original Windward lawn, this is the house.
Right.
And then there's also this one showing that the markers, which are these squares on this image here, are showing where the 50-foot buffer is from the wetland, and the 100-foot is a longer line not marked on the site. So the stones on site that we're seeing in the images from the site visit are of the 50-foot buffer and not the original Windward lawn, as you can see indicated here. Then we have even back that up even further. I found the original aerial imagery of the site. So this is from 2003 before construction began. It was just fields, and this is from 2018. And you can see it matches in practice essentially even more trees than there was originally.
So there's no more mowing occurring beyond the mountains that were a shovel. I know. Stuff.
Than was originally happening, yes. It's always been maintained lawn
Yeah, okay.
in the right amount, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what it looks like between the area of the photo and the drawings that we have. So,
Right, yes.
Why does this property have the markers?
They all do.
most of them do.
Yeah, most of them do. I don't know if they all do, but I've seen other ones, like specifically on Button Road, like,
There's a couple, even on the city property, like next to me, where it's not a lot, with the concrete marker, it's been,
Right.
the treehouse mowers have taken off most of it, and there's about a
Oh.
1 inch
Yes.
stub coming out, but, and then I've seen them on, I think, 3 Button Road also has some.
Yeah,
on that
yep.
street.
yeah, I can remember those from when they
A
were.
lot of people find the back of the lot, not the sides. That's why this was a little confusing where that the mowing is occurring past the marker, but it's really, within the boundary. A lot of it just to find the back so you don't go further into the wetland. Any other concerns or questions?
Yeah, so the applicant is asking for a partial certificate of compliance, which is appropriate in this instance, it's just for the one lot, not for the entire treehouse project.
Okay.
So what I put here is partial, and then this is the potential certificate here. Lot 7, parentheses 11 Button Road, assessors map 162-297. And there's no ongoing conditions beyond what's already written on the deed, just the lawn information is stipulated there, so they can't expand beyond that. So that's needed in other places.
How much treehouse developed? 1,000?
It was after 2003, yeah,
2008.
yeah, later than you think, yeah, later than you think, which matches with the aerial
Our house was
imagery.
built in 2007. We're the second owners of it. They built the lots, they sold off the lots on Button first, and then they developed Treehouse. Like they did the apartments and stuff in 2007, and then all the single families that went in, they built those in like 2012 through 2016 or something like that. Because when we moved there in 2012, there was just the apartments and it was open fields on Treehouse Circle and River Valley Way, mostly except for the model.
That's pretty. I live on Holly.
When was Holiday?
2000.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That was always designed to connect into the Kingsbury neighborhood at some point.
Yeah.
Right? And it did.
Wait for that to happen. Or continue.
Any other discussion on the left road? Would someone like to make a motion to issue a partial certificate of compliance?
I'll make a motion to issue a partial certificate of compliance for 11 Button Road.
For a second? I'll second. Roll call vote. Commissioner Busa is absent of notice. Commissioner Buttrick is absent of notice. Commissioner Bryant, aye. Commissioner Whitmore,
Aye.
Commissioner August.
Aye.
Commissioner Weeks. Aye. And Commissioner Carr is absent of notice. Motion carries.
Awesome. So if you guys want to sign that, then I can scan it and I can give you the original copy and
Great.
keep my digital one. And then you'll be good to go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. If they have any questions about it, tell them they can call me because the in-hand copy should be good.
You have something to sign?
It's coming around.
No.
It's coming around.
Just amazed it's never came up in when I bought it in 2012 or when I refinanced the place 3 different times.
Yeah.
It's
As rates kept going down in the pandemic.
Mm.
It's in a different bank.
Yep.
They saw it on the title and it's an issue.
It's interesting. I don't know anything about how that process works on their
Easthampton
end.
Savings is the one that flagged it on the title search. Other banks, and 2 of them were local credit unions. It wasn't like it was national banks that don't care about that kind of stuff.
Right, right. Interesting. Yeah, we had a similar one for, his name was on a permit and then it was the old city engineer. And so his name was on a lot of permits and they were almost said that they need to get all those closed out. And I was like, that doesn't seem physically possible.
20 years, just so product they were going to retire and all of a sudden it's still on there 30 something years ago.
All right, I'll be right back.
Sure.
Thanks.
You're the second owner?
Second owner, yeah. Yeah, first owners there for like 5 or 6 years and then their kids graduated high school and so we lucked into getting it before Easthampton really blew up. especially with the new school going in right next door.
Yeah,
It would
definitely.
be nice for our 3 small kids to walk straight to school.
Yeah, nice.
Hopefully they finish the school before September. I walk through there every day.
Yeah,
They got a little ways to go.
well, we were there a couple weeks ago, and they said September.
Yeah. Just like last week, the parking lots are just being formed.
Okay.
I didn't realize that they had summer school there.
Yeah,
In the madhouse there.
they had air conditioning, that's the key.
They're trying to get done, and they have summer school
Yeah.
in the madhouse. And
And that for the last 2.5 years since I started tearing that place. That was one nice thing during the lockdown. You could just walk over there and watch all the power equipment with kids. Like
Okay.
watch all the excavators and bulldozers. It was something to do.
So if there's something like this comes up again, you know, whether it's something else on one part,
Yes,
so it would be another partial.
it could be another partial, or it could be unless it's the last property on Button Road, part of this project, then we could do a complete one, but there's so many properties here that are probably not approved at this point, probably the partial.
yeah, that's what I think. Like their park.
Because we can't approve the whole project, there's still too many open ends.
Hey, you just,
Okay.
yeah, and I'll take it.
Yeah, great.
No problem. Good luck with everything else.
The whole project.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Judge, for your patience.
Thank you. Could have been that on project level, right?
It's not been forgotten about.
What, the certificate?
Yes.
Yep. Remember we did that one for 1980?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like permit number 17 or
Sell the
something.
property, the closings, next week, and they're all, it shows up at the last minute, they all freak out. Which is normal. All right, enforcement actions. We've got letter C highlighted.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I still don't have an update for that and I apologize. B for the 93 Northampton Street, we got the check. There's going through the process for the peer review, no problem. So the contract has been signed and all, and the special account created. So that's good to go.
Open space updates.
No updates.
I know the update is when it gets a little cooler,
Yeah.
below that, that's all. So
Yeah.
maybe the next week and a half or so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just whenever it's safe, like seriously.
No, it's just been so crazy.
Yeah, it's got to break at some point, hopefully.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool.
The compliance updates. Just like you have letter I highlighted.
Yep, just for the school. So I don't know if I said this last meeting, but they wanted to remove some of the erosion controls for areas that they felt like were stable already. And Mike was at the site visit. This is for the area above. So I'm trying to think the best way to describe this. Maybe I can show a plan real quick.
Wasn't all of it except behind?
Not all of it. I think it was just, I think they want to remove as much as they can. The parts that I felt like you guys would be willing to remove was pretty, yeah. So let me see here. Okay. See if I can. Just find a good overall video. All right, I'm just gonna share my screen real quick. So this image is from the invasive management plan, but just it gives you the general idea of everything. So they'd like to remove the erosion controls from up here. This is where the turbidity curtain is, and there's that major outlet. That area, they wanted to remove the turbidity curtain and all those controls, and I felt like I wouldn't recommend that just because it seemed to be still be functioning to some degree and doing stuff. So I felt like maybe that one should stay. But they asked about up gradient kind of all along this area and back along this way. Certainly all along here is vegetated, it's paved. There's not much going on in the way of movement there. Along this back edge, it's pretty vegetated, but there's still some work I thought to be done in this back corner where there's an outlet, a drainage outlet back here. And then along here, definitely keeping it around here. They're almost done with all the paving, but there's still major construction happening here. This isn't, at least at the time of the site visit, still had bare ground to me along this way. And again, along here as well, there's still more work to be done. So it's really just this top corner.
And they're clear about the areas of your concern.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, we talked about it at the site visit. So I told them that's what I was going to say
You thought it looked stable?
for this part. This is like the back of the school, essentially.
Yeah, parts where they wanted to remove look good.
Okay. I think it should be no issue.
Okay, cool. I'll let them know. Just a quick update. And there's like turbidity curtains down here, and then there's a slope up, and then the very top of that, they had some erosion controls, and they wanted to remove those, and that felt like that was fine to me. It's all stable and growing in at the top, but at the very bottom, I was like, we should keep it. Okay. All right, cool. Trying to think if there was anything else on projects.
Nothing highlighted as far as clients.
Yeah, yep, so I'm good on my end.
General business. I think we have enough people here to do the minutes if we want to do that.
Mhm.
Did everyone have a chance to take a look at them? Concerns or discussion?
No copy of the one, but yeah, I made a number of edits that Deb was able to share with me, so.
Get a motion to approve the minutes from July 25th.
I will go for it.
I'll move to approve the meeting minutes from July 25th.
Is there a second? Okay, roll call vote. Commissioner Busa absent with notice. Commissioner Buttrick absent with notice. Commissioner Ryan, aye. Commissioner Whitmore.
Aye.
Commissioner August.
Aye.
Commissioner Weeks. Aye. And Commissioner Carr is absent with notice. Motion carries.
Okay. The only thing was the wetlands ordinance discussion, and I don't know if y'all want to wait till everyone else is here or if there's anything.
I mean, I printed things out. I went through them again because it's been so long since we looked at it, but two of our key people aren't here, so I think I'd rather wait for Dan to be here because they are certainly have a lot more experience than I do.
So as we're going through all of that paperwork,
Yeah.
can we continue to send you emails
Oh,
with,
please do.
other things?
Yeah, I think that's really helpful. What I'll try to do is just keep create some kind of compilation of all the edits people are trying to make.
Oh.
And that way I can work to start incorporating them in the final or, the master draft, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But yeah, that's really
Some
helpful.
more after I email.
Yeah. Yeah, just keep sending them my way. Yeah, no, that's good. And yeah, kind of just go through it and then you can send me the final one or whatever, however you want to do is fine with me. So yeah, thank you.
Can I ask a question just for my education on
Sure.
this topic? I found something from the MAC website. Vernal pools are protected only if they occur in resource areas because in association with a waterway or other things.
Yeah.
And then thinking about those pools that we looked at, 93 Northampton.
Mhm.
What they're calling those isolated wetlands, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
But in another context, are those distinct from vernal pools? If we were to define them as vernal pools and then just suggests protection for all vernal pools, whether or not associated with a resource area. That kind of,
Is that first part true though? I thought vernal pools can pop up anywhere as long as it's certified that meets the criteria.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it's, so you could have a vernal pool that is not within a resource area, but it's been certified as a vernal pool, like you said, then it's jurisdictional.
So it could have been isolated,
Okay.
it could have been an isolated wetland, but it's been certified, so
Yeah.
now you're.
Which means it's been, yeah, well, so if it's been, if an isolated wetland has been proven to be a vernal pool based on a certain criteria that the state's laid out,
Mhm.
then it becomes
Which
protected.
has to do with the things that are growing at certain
Yep.
times of the year.
Right.
Or what
Okay.
species, yeah, what species are vernal.
Sure.
But so for the case of 93 Northampton Street, those were isolated wetlands. They've never been certified.
Right.
And, you know, they may have function as vernal pool, but if they never gotten certified, they're not, they weren't determined to be jurisdictional and it cannot be determined now.
I think
So,
that's a tricky part. Is how do they certify a vernal pool? And it doesn't seem like
Struggling to
a
get my head around it.
yeah, I know it's a lot, but you know, I know what you're talking about, just generally the question. So
Yep.
there definitely is a way to have language that basically catches all those things so that it doesn't need to be certified to become jurisdictional to the commission under our ordinance. And I think the way that I think I've seen it done is saying that just isolated vegetated wetlands are jurisdictional. So then it doesn't matter if they're vernal pools or not, they
That
are.
might be the simplest
Yeah.
thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I know, it's interesting. It's funny that they're not included.
So do we just say isolated wetlands or is isolated vegetated wetlands? That one? Or
That's a good
are those the
question.
same?
That's a good question. I think that they're the same, or I use it
I think it's the same
interchangeably.
thing, but
Yeah, just
Yeah,
You're better,
I use it interchangeably, but I think
right?
in the language, we'll probably want to say isolated vegetated, because I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't know what difference it makes. We'll find a good example language, I think, you know, that
Okay.
can do that, because it's very common that people want to make those, or commissions want to include those. So there's definitely precedent to like get that.
But I didn't see any carve outs to like what I have is a man-made retention pond.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I don't know how to approach that, because would it be that these man-made retention ponds become under that umbrella and become jurisdictional?
A man-made retention pond might have a maintenance plan that you're in there mowing, which you'd never be able to do in a vernal pool or an isolated wetland, perhaps.
Right.
I asked at the conference that it can never be.
Like made jurisdictional?
Yeah, I couldn't fall under it.
It's an interesting question.
stop maintaining them, and it just comes on its own. Or then something when we can.
Oh, maybe there's a maintenance plan in perpetuity where 100 years from now, you could go there and clear it out to
Mhm.
make it function correctly. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be draining water into it and letting that water soak into the ground. It should be working correctly. It's overgrown with trees and it's not working correctly, but I don't think it's gonna switch over to something other than retention pond.
Yeah, that's the other issue is the maintenance. He's required to maintain.
Mhm.
Like the city has an easement on my property so they can access the drainage pipes from the street to the pond. Then later, since the house was built, so like trees are growing in or
Running, it just gets forgotten.
yeah. I mean, that could be that frog, there's no fish,
Mhm.
that salamander.
It has to do with some of the things that are in it in the springtime, so if you observe it and apply, you can get it maybe.
Yeah, I asked Mark when I was at the conference, I thought they said it's been made camp, but so hard to find.
If it's retention pond, I just don't think that's gonna be practical, but if it was an isolated wetland, then you probably get all the data together, then you could get an area certified.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I've heard that before, that you can potentially get like these weird structures certified as a vernal pool, but that can like be a problem for sometimes for people if they're trying to like manage it.
Right.
or
Especially
maintain.
if the city won't maintain it. Who's
Yeah.
gonna maintain it? Or has jurisdiction?
Right. I think, there's gotta be, like, maybe you could include it in the definition of what is an isolated vegetated wetland in any ordinance that said, would just say like, not including like man-made ponds or something, but that's an interesting point, so I can try to look up more data on
There's
that.
quite a few in the city,
Yeah, I'm sure,
like new developments that they put that in.
right.
Yeah, keep it. So,
Anything else for general business?
Not that I've got.
Future meetings are gonna be like this, I assume, for
Probably, yeah.
Wow.
I keep it on there just in case anything changes. We're
Sure.
pretty solid with the owl now. And they did, the allowance for remote meetings got extended to next year, I think in March or something. So, but I think the city likes doing it this way and likes having that extra option for people. So I don't anticipate that it'll change much in the future.
You mean for us to be able to do remote or just to have remote?
Yeah, so that was a question of, if someone could attend, like say we had a situation like tonight and Mike could only attend remotely. We kind of discussed in the office, we thought that would be quorum and it'd be okay.
that has changed, so he could be quorum if he was online
Yeah.
today.
Yep, I think so. I think because the
That
city,
changed.
yeah, the city policy used to be that we had to have an in-person
Correct.
quorum, but that was like a city thing, not a statewide regulation. And now the city, the state reaffirmed that you're good to do remote stuff for another year. And we didn't get any update from the city saying that like anything changed one way or another. And they're actually letting people do remote again, fully. So it's a little confusing. And I, that seemed to be the general consensus was that like, if you need to, it's like a pinch, then let's do it. I think the intent originally was there was a concern that more people than not would be attending remotely and you'd end up with these weird meetings where there's no commissioners here and there's a bunch of public attendees and they're all on the computer and like, that does seem a little strange. So we'd like to have ideally an in-person forum.
Right,
But-
if somebody like, if he couldn't
Yeah.
make it, then we would have
Yeah.
not had a meeting.
Yeah, which would have been a shame, so.
I asked,
Yeah, I appreciate
I
it.
would have, oh, and may I probably come to an actress. Easier just to show up.
Well, I appreciate it, because,
Yeah, it's hard to do things online.
yeah.
I make a motion to adjourn. I guess.
The motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? I'll second. Roll call vote. Commissioner Busa, absent with notice. Commissioner Patrick, absent with notice. Commissioner Ryan, aye. Commissioner Whitmore.
Aye.
Commissioner August. Commissioner Weeks. Aye. Commissioner Carr, absent with notice. Motion carries.
Next meeting,
The next meeting is on the 22nd, that's correct.
August 22nd. Okay, cool. I'm gonna stop the recording.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.